Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to daily number 492, where we learn to be a better gamer, and we are appreciating CreatorPrime. Creator's good. In part 1, what we really looked at is a pretty greedy opening from Terran. Didn't look too in-depth because we were looking largely from Creator's point of view. And what we're seeing Creator do is this interesting stalker-focused defense at the start. It's not sentry-focused like we usually see. Because it's stalker-focused, it allows us to both save gas for other interesting things that we want to do, but also allows us to sort of see clearly what's up with our little Protoss opponent. I want to try to, if my replay will let me, oh, excellent, it will, come to this moment where we can see truly the use of these stalkers, where we can get a good sense of what's up, and begin doing this little run and shoot sort of micro. We don't really do too much of it in this spot, but what's nice about this map is there's a good retreat path. There's nice open spaces where we can work with stuff. Alright, coming right back on up. Excelente. This was like so freaking impressive to me that Creator was able to just get up all this stuff so quickly, and then boom, there's the Colossus coming up, and we even have enough gas to get our range upgrade if need be. But there's an interesting little juncture that happens in Creator's play that just was crazy to see. He actually parks the Observer here just to check up on stuff, and then instantly goes double forge. And finally, as a last little piece to the puzzle, gets 2 more sentries. Now this timing is pretty significant because 9:30 is where shit really hits the fan. It's where a Terran player will finish up with stim and medevacs. It's, in this case, where a lot of add-ons finally finish up. So he's getting those just a smidge beforehand. And you'll notice that with 1 sentry up around the time he had, he can actually get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 force fields down. So it's enough to block this ramp like almost twice. Gets a little bit dicier when you have to deal with them other medevac droppages, but now finally throwing in some zealots out there. And what's interesting is that the sort of mixture that Protosses have been going for more often as of late is Blink Stalker Colossus as opposed to Speed Zealot. Blink Stalker has become really popular, especially among Squirtle, Parting, and or not Parting. Parting's a total Speed Zealot player. Among Creator and Squirtle. So cool, we're seeing the 4th gateway get added on. What do players normally do in this position? What players normally do is they actually stick to 3 gateways. They go for their range upgrade. They're trying to just focus on getting a lot more Colossus, but I love this cutting Colossus production entirely. Instantly getting this Twilight Council up. And just basically with this really thin defense, building all them zealots. All them zealots. And gateways. And now has a really smooth transition into this Zealot Archon style. This style is really cute. You literally just grace the edge of Colossus tech. This can backfire, I will note. It can go really badly. But I think that the big key to this entire thing functioning properly is these 4 stalkers. This is where I'll actually pause and talk for a moment. If any of you watched Zhongbi vs. Marine King Prime, that actually happened 12 hours a day? What? 12 hours ago? 12 hours a day? God. I spent a long time trying to compute how long ago it was, and then I said something that didn't make any sense. It happened maybe 15 hours ago, Marine King Prime versus Zhongbi. Zhongbi literally did this exact build, but he did it on Entombed Valley. I'm actually going to open up Entombed Valley because this is pretty, I think, important. Entombed Valley. Images on Google. Open it up. See full-size image. Alright, cool. On Entombed Valley, Zhongbi spawned here. So I want to notice, I want you to notice that if we come back to StarCraft 2 for a moment, on the map, Antigua Shipyard, here's the drops path for Terran. It's right up along this path right here. It's just like that. So we can do some nice spotting with our observer and just kind of keep the stalkers there to deflect this. On Entombed Valley, if you're here, there's a lot bigger of considerations for dropping. For instance, if a medevac actually just comes here, notice we suddenly don't know whether to position our stalkers up here on this top part or our stalkers over here on this part. And what happened is Marine King Prime just danced around here, forcing Zhongbi to put some units here and some units here, and then, oh shit, there's a drop there, and then Zhongbi actually had to focus his units there, and then Marine King Prime just burst up the front. So in this case, what Creator really doesn't want is the bust up the front. He's actually pulled back a little bit. You'll notice he's pulled back. He's not keeping all his units really far forward. He's actually a little bit pulled back. And if he starts to see these drops, then he can reposition. But this is kind of important on Antigua Shipyard, that we can actually walk along this ridge, that even with this little fragile positioning area, CreatorPrime manages to get up just enough of the right units in the right position. And see, this is the hard part. As long as you can deflect this a little bit, you're still seeing that even with these nice formations, Creator's kind of like dancing on a razor's edge. Had one Colossus, Colossus gone. And here, now, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen the standard transition that is in the modern PvT style. This wiggling around at the start where we just get up a single Colossus, and that defense is really what makes Creator just the greatest. That is the big damn moment right there. And now we can start going straight into Colossus Storm. We have all the stuff that we need. We actually don't need that many units as long as we get our Stormers up. I'm not quite sold on Warp Prism play. I kind of prefer to just build more gateways at this point in time. But I'm just going to speed it up because it ends up being a fairly simple defense situation. Where Sting ends up creating a whole bunch of headaches and a whole bunch of problems. And how wonderful we leave some of these gateways open to be able to deal with this stuff. Sting, very tragically, has just a little bit too much stuff. We're a little bit too overeager. And Sting will end up breaking us. Oh no, alack alas. So I'm sure many people heard, wait a minute, Day9 was giving lots of compliments to this player's play. I was. This is really nice defense by Creator around here. Just narrowly being able to stay alive. We generally want this Colossus to sort of stay up, but I will note that this will pretty much always happen with this kind of build order style, where we will get this ever so just barely defense going. But this is the moment right now where I think things kind of went a little bit awry. Sting getting his extra barracks up. This is a very standard situation to be in this matchup, but I would actually say I like Creator's position more than I like Sting's position. Creator has all his tech paths out. He has Colossus, he has Double Forge, he has Speed, he's going to have Storm soon. And CreatorPrime's pretty damn bold. Pretty damn bold with this sort of Nexus going down, but I will note, if you're playing in this style and you get to 12 minutes, you are in really happy time shape. You are just feeling oh so comfortable. I want to just come back to the part that I thought things went really wrong. I think it's this moment when we're getting double ups, end Storm, end Colossus out. Where did our Colossus go? Did he... I think he actually canceled the Colossus. I don't mind, for instance, going for the Colossus and going for range and starting to build that up. I don't mind going for a whole bunch of more gateway units and this kind of thing. But there's just a little bit too much, especially the Warp Prism. I was kind of like, what are we Warp Prisming for? What are we getting the Warp Prism for? I also think a drop snuck in here. Right. Yeah, this drop just ended up sneaking in. If you come in for just come back and select all the gateways. If you're in a position like this where you don't have these idle gateways, you need to have vision in the drop areas. If you don't have vision, how do you say that? Okay, so my brain. If you have open gateways, it's okay to be a little bit down on vision, because when all of a sudden a drop begins happening, you can pull back a little bit and be like, oh, let me warp in some dudes. But this is the last position you want to be in, where this happens. This is where everything starts to fall apart. And suddenly our carefully constructed defense instantly flubs. Instantly, totally, instantly flubs. Because this army would be very straightforward to deal with a Zealot Archon force and Storm. It's that end Storm that's the little extra bonus thing. And the other thing that is really sort of getting in the way is this Colossus that we let get all the way up, and right here, this Colossus that we got up that went reasonably far. This Colossus, I really think should have finished, or this Storm should have started a little bit earlier, because if you're taking this third Nexus, you need either Storm or a Colossus to defend it, just period. So, in my eyes, I still love this game from Creator as like an example play. We get all our tech up so fast, and it's a little unstable, it's hard, you have to micro well. He could have microed better, but he did it. He got to the 12-minute mark. In fact, there are many people in chat who were like, yeah, he could have microed better, why didn't he do this and that micro trick? Totally could have done all those things, but getting to 12 minutes is a powerful enough moment for Protoss with this build order that if you get there, you're like, hey! It's really great. It's really happy. So I like that. I like it a lot. What I want to do is I want to hop into the next game. Let me check up on something real fast. Because my encoder seems to be going crazy. I'll try to talk and commentate at the same time. So that's something that I am liking a lot about Creator, is that his games tend to be quite fast compared to your average bear. Where is this? Result. I just need to check something really fast. And yes, excellent, excellent. I wanted to make sure that I didn't open up the wrong game. There we go. Ha, cool. So we're going to hop into another game on Cloud Kingdom. Again, it's kind of a short one. We tend to think of PvT as this matchup where the Protosses are just staying back, chilling, doing nothing, and then a huge, gigantic mega force. Not really the case nowadays, which I love. Here's Game 3, another highly requested match. And hopefully we'll get the chance to go on to game number 1 in a moment, after this is said and done. So, map is going to be on Cloud Kingdom. Let's do a little bit of compare and contrast between this game and the last game. We see CreatorPrime already doing a scout. What does this mean? This is going to give us an opportunity to skip this first Zealot. If we don't do this early probe scout, we kind of have to build that first Zealot. I like it. And for any of you who are wondering, this is Game 3 between Sting and CreatorPrime in the semifinals of TSL4. CreatorPrime plays in the finals on Sunday. I'm casting. Go watch it. So here comes this cybernetics core. This is the moment where I personally don't like building a first zealot here. I see no tech lab, I see no reactor. I feel good. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually hang here till 3:15, just so I can see the first Marine pop and see if he tries to rearrange. But there are still many a soul who say, you know what, I'd rather have this first zealot up because I freaking hate being engineering bay blocked. I freaking hate it. So we will see CreatorPrime do the usual at least 2 chrono boosts on the cybernetics core. And again, we see this really cool extra stalker E-bit. I love this. This is so cool. This is actually considered old school, man. 1 zealot and 2 stalkers before the Nexus. People started to obsess about building the Nexus as early as possible. You know, the Nexus on 20, starting warp gate research, and then building a Nexus, and then building units. Hell no, not Creator. And this is a lot more common. No third gateway. Phew. Or no third stalker. And here's another reason why we just love, love, love our early zealotness. We can move our zealot up with our stalker, knowing full well we will likely lose it, but that's okay. We don't really need it so much. I will also note I love this build from Sting. This was like my staple build in the beta. For any of you who don't know about this build, the official old school version is you go for barracks and then fast gas. You get a factory. You build 2 Marines and then you get the tech lab add-on. And then you just go Marine, basically building Marauders out of the barracks and Hellions out of the factory, and you just push. And you have the 2 initial Marines to sort of drive away scouting. Also what's neat is you can follow this up nicely with 2-port Banshee. It's really, really fun to do and really annoying, because think about if the other guy's going for Marauder Hellion, Protoss is going to have to be spending a lot of gas to be able to deal with this. Zealots, not going to deal with it. Stalkers and Sentries, maybe. Sentries with Zealots, sure, but Zealots alone, not going to deal with it. You need gas to be able to deal with it. And then you follow it up with 2-port Banshee, and he's really low on gas. Nowadays, a more common thing is just to go for the 1-port Banshee and expand, but still, I'm loving it. So we once again see Creator with his sort of forwardness with this Stalker, doing some good stuff with this probe. This might seem subtle, but I feel like this is super pivotal part of the build. With Zealot, Stalker, and Stalker moving out, just having a probe coordinated with it. The first push of these 2 units having another probe with it. This becomes super important because in many builds you'll get contained. In many, many builds you'll get contained, and it's important to have a probe out on the field. So yeah, this is something that, again, will seem like not part of a build order, right? We're getting our extra gateways up. We see Creator sort of instantly going, oh my god, emergency, 5 gate. I'm under pressure. However, with our forward probe, we have a lot more options. What if we got contained? What if this guy, in all his pushing glory, managed to build a bunker down here, which very often he will? What then? We would be in terrible shape. So Creator actually just literally goes straight for a shove. Not overbuilding at the front, but this is a pretty simple game that I like quite a bit. Oh no. All the drama and tragedy at the front. I'm gonna speed ahead because there's not much shocking and brilliant about building units off 5 gateways, but again, notice how the Zealots alone aren't cutting it. Force fields coupling with this are working. Stalkers alone are working. And then a nice standard counter swing. Some good numbers. 5 Stalkers is a nice number to have. 4 is also a nice number to have. It lets us one-shot a lot of pain. 5 particular to kill off the Marine/SCV combo. But kind of a nice clean win. Largely helped by the fact that we had these forward pylons to be able to deal with stuff. Back home, kind of struggling. But this was a pretty simple, clean, easy, straightforward game. And this is actually a pretty high percentage play as well. I mean, it looks kind of goofy. It's like, well, he attacked me, so I canceled him 5-gated. It's pretty dang high percentage, and I actually want to come to right here. Against this build in particular, especially when you see Marauder Hellion, if he's going Banshee, when these 5 gates are done and you warp in and you attack, he actually just dies. You don't even really have to worry that much about getting the robotics facility. He'll actually just die. When the attack's going on and it starts to work, you just build a robo back home, but he largely dies. Yay! Death happens. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're just going to do game 1 of their series. Then we're going to wrap it up. Hope you've been enjoying this exhaustion-laden cast, talking about CreatorPrime and why he's good. Game 1 was kind of complicated in terms of what made it sexy from Creator's point of view. This game seemed a little more clear, but still we got the benefit of seeing how little tweaks, like when we move out with Zealot Stalker, we send another probe along. It helps so much. It opens up the opportunity for a counter swing. In this case, we had to defend a little bit more. In a lot of other cases, we won't have to, and that powerful counter swing will instantly let us win. Break time! Yeah! Yeah!